Reacher Season 3, Episode 5 Review. I'm relieved some shocking character deaths saved an otherwise lukewarm episode. Prime Video's Reacher Season 3, Episode 5, Smackdown, features several twists and developments, some more shocking than others. Alan Ritchson's Jack Reacher is in the thick of an undercover mission with DEA agents, getting closer to avenging a fallen friend in Prague, Dominique Cole. After a backstory-heavy Reacher Season 3, Episode 4, Episode 5 felt somewhat like filler despite several key character deaths. It seems to act as a bridge between the stronger episodes before it and the anticipated action to come in future episodes. Reacher Season 3, Episode 5 reveals Quinn's operation with Bazaar as weapons trafficking, not drugs, which means the case is no longer the responsibility of the DEA. This likely won't stop Susan Duffy and Guillermo Villanueva from getting to the bottom of the case and finding Teresa, especially in the wake of Elliot's murder by one of Quinn and Beck's guys. Episode 5 also includes one of the most randomly funny moments of Season 3 as Reacher tries cat poop coffee, otherwise known as Kopi Luwak, before knocking out a misogynistic henchman at breakfast. Several character deaths provided the best twists in Reacher Season 3, Episode 5. Episode 5 was going through the motions compared to more adrenaline-pumping episodes such as Episode 3. Still, the episode offered a variety of key character deaths, starting with DEA agent Stephen Elliott, who I could tell wasn't going to survive Reacher Season 3 with his nice guy treatment of his prisoner John Cooper, Richard Beck's bodyguard, who proves to be a cold-blooded killer. Reacher and Villanueva make quick work of Cooper, intercepting him by placing Villanueva in a flipped car as a trap for Reacher to strike. This scene seemed a bit out of character for Reacher, putting another innocent DEA agent's life in the hands of Cooper, but his instinct and knowledge once again prevail. Finally, in what is the most shocking death of the series thus far, Annette, one of Beck's housemaids, is revealed to be an undercover ATF informant. While we don't see her die on screen, it's safe to say Beck and Polly didn't let her get away. Annette's true identity reveal and instant death was a chilling development, adding another example of Reacher Season 3 being darker and more ruthless than its previous seasons. While Elliot's death is tragic, it's uncanny how many mistakes he made as a DEA agent, even if he was still somewhat green. Duffy and Villanueva should never have left him alone with Cooper, but they had no other choice. Annette's true identity reveal and instant death was a chilling development, adding another example of Reacher Season 3 being darker and more ruthless than its previous seasons. Reacher's impending showdown with Polly is further teased in Episode 5, and I can't wait. Reacher Season 3 has teased us for 5 episodes with the expected showdown between Reacher and Polly, which I've been dying to see ever since the Reacher Season 2 trailer was released. The Smackdown, the episode title, refers to made for a great and humbling scene for Reacher, who usually doesn't have to restrain himself from speaking his mind. Polly, however, reminds Reacher of his superior rank as a direct employee of Quinn's, offering him a deafening hook that literally leaves the typically invincible Reacher rattled. By the time we reach the midpoint of any Reacher season, there's a certain expectation. The screws are tightening, the body count is ticking up, and Jack Reacher's fists are solving as many problems as his brain. But in Season 3, Episode 5, an installment that could have easily drifted into procedural tedium, it wasn't Reacher's signature haymakers, or even his investigative prowess that made me sit up. It was the deaths. Shocking, sudden, and necessary deaths that finally injected some urgency into an otherwise underwhelming hour of television. Let's get one thing straight. Reacher thrives when it balances brute force with intricate plotting. Adapted from Lee Child's Persuader, this season has been playing a long game of cat and mouse, pitting Reacher against a labyrinth and smuggling operation tied to a shadowy figure from his past, Francis Xavier Quinn. And yet, Episode 5 stumbled in ways fans of both the show and the books will recognize. Too much table setting, too many characters spinning their wheels, and a central mystery that, up to this point, hadn't justified the deliberate pace. The opening 15 minutes, for example, feel like they're pulled straight from the previously on folder. Reacher Alan Ritchson, as reliably magnetic as ever, is still tailing the cartel middlemen. Susan Duffy, Maria Sten, and Polly Dominic Lombardozzi continue their separate, parallel investigations. There are brooding stakeouts, terse phone calls, and cryptic clues scribbled on whiteboards, procedural window dressing we've seen 100 times before. But it's when the script finally takes the gloves off with not one, but two major character deaths that episode 5 comes roaring to life. The first is Maria Nagy guest star Sophie Okonedo, the deep-cover DEA agent who, for 4 episodes, seemed untouchable. Nagy's death is swift and merciless. A clean sniper shot takes her out during an ambush Reacher fails to anticipate. What's brilliant here is how the show plays with our expectations. Book readers assumed Nagy would be a season-long fixture. Instead, she's unceremoniously dispatched, her investigation left in tatters. The loss cuts through Reacher's armor, visibly rattling him more than we've seen all season, and more importantly, it obliterates any illusion of safety among the good guys. The second death is even more devastating. Richard Beck Anthony Konechny, the conflicted heir to the Beck smuggling empire, finally meets his end. Poisoned at a family dinner orchestrated by his father, Zachary Beck Brian Goodman, Richard's demise is a gut punch. For weeks, the show had carefully positioned him as a potential ally, a bridge between Reacher and the inner workings of the operation. His murder wipes away that avenue entirely and exposes the ruthless calculus at play within the Beck family. These narrative rug pulls are not just shocking for shock's sake. They're catalytic. Suddenly, episode 5 snaps into focus. No more waiting, no more circling. The stakes are immediate and personal, and Reacher's mission becomes something more than an intellectual puzzle. He's out for revenge. And when Reacher's motivated like that, the show sings. It's worth noting that without these deaths, the episode would have been dangerously close to filler. While Richson continues to deliver a pitch-perfect embodiment of Child's protagonist, stoic but simmering, thoughtful but deadly, even his considerable screen presence can't fully mask the episode's sagging momentum in its first half. The dialogue, at times, veers into exposition-heavy territory, and a subplot involving Duffy's strained relationship with her superiors feels like narrative padding rather than meaningful character work. That said, the direction by MJ. Bassett deserves credit for maintaining a grounded cinematic grit. Bassett smartly frames Reacher less as an invincible superhero this time and more as a man whose allies are dwindling fast. The cinematography reflects this shift. The usually wide, sunlit shots of coastal Maine, a clever relocation from the books. Georgia's setting grow darker, more claustrophobic. Shadows lengthen. Danger creeps in at the edges of the frame. Even Reacher's brawls, though sparse this episode, feel less triumphant and more desperate. Richson also subtly layers vulnerability into Reacher's stoicism post-Nagy's death. His quiet scene in the motel, where he silently stares at her now useless case files, is the kind of introspective moment the series doesn't always slow down to give us. It reminds viewers that Reacher isn't a machine, he's just very good at pretending to be one. By the final act, episode 5 has successfully reignited the season's narrative momentum. The final scene, Reacher standing alone on a windswept dock, phone pressed to his ear as he coldly tells Quinn, "I'm coming for you next," is vintage Reacher, clean, concise, and pulsing with restrained menace.